Hey everyone, and welcome. You know that feeling when you leave a doctor's appointment and you're more confused by the words they used than by the actual diagnosis? Well, today, we're going to fix that. We're going to break down some of the most complicated sounding titles in medicine and turn you into a vocabulary detective.
I mean, think about it. You're at the clinic, you get a referral, and bam, you're hit with this long, complex title. And we all do it, right? We just nod along like we totally get it, but in the back of our minds, we're thinking, what does that specialist actually do?
These words like ophthalmologist or orthopedist, they feel like they're from a completely different language. And you know what? That's because they pretty much are. They're almost all from Greek and Latin. But here's the good news. They all contain a secret code. And once you learn to spot the little root words hidden inside, these scary-sounding terms become surprisingly simple.
So today, we're going to crack the code on 10 of the most common specialists. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll stop seeing these words as confusing jargon and start seeing them for what they are: fascinating, solvable little puzzles.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at doctors who focus on the body's core systems. Then, we'll cover specialists for different stages of life's journey. After that, we'll meet the body's troubleshooters. And finally, the healers of our nerve and mind. Then we'll wrap it all up with the secret language we've unlocked. Let's get started. All right, let's dive right into Section 1, Inside the Body's Core, starting with the internist and the cardiologist. First up, the internist. The best way to think about an internist is like a master detective for your internal health. If you've got some kind of complex or mysterious symptom, they're the ones who come in, use tools like x-rays and blood tests, and really analyze all the clues to solve the puzzle of what's going on inside your body. Okay, and this next part is super important to get right. An internist is a fully licensed specialist in internal medicine. They are not, I repeat, not the same as an intern. An intern is a medical school graduate who's still in their training phase at a hospital. It's a really big difference in experience and expertise. Next up, the cardiologist. Let's just break it down. The Greek root cardia means heart. And this next root, logos, you're going to see this one a lot. It means science. So a cardiologist is just an expert in the science of the heart. See? Once you break it apart, it's not so scary, right? Moving on to Section 2, Experts for Life's Journey. These are the specialists who focus on some of the key stages in our lives, from reproduction all the way to childhood.
Let's start with the gynecologist. The Greek root here is gyne, which simply means woman. And there's our old friend logos again, meaning science. Put them together, and a gynecologist is an expert in the science of women's health. Simple as that.
Now, the origin of obstetrician is really fascinating. It comes from the Latin word obstetrix, which meant midwife. But that word itself comes from a verb that means to stand by. It paints this beautiful picture of someone literally standing by a woman in labor to help. Then you just add that suffix -ician, which means expert, and there you have it, an expert who stands by during childbirth.
Okay, how about the pediatrician? This one combines two different Greek roots, paidos, which means child, and iatria, which means medical healing. So put it all together, and what do you get? A pediatrician is an expert in the medical healing of children. And here's a fun little tip that will help you remember this one forever. The ped in pediatrician comes from the Greek paidos, for child. A lot of people get this mixed up with the Latin word paides, which means foot, like in the word pedal. So just remember, a pediatrician treats children, not feet.
All right, on to Section 3, the body's troubleshooters. Now we're going to look at the specialists who zero in on specific parts of the body, like our skin, our eyes, and our bones. Let's start with a pretty familiar one, the dermatologist. The Greek root derma just means skin. Combine that with logos, science, and there you have it. A dermatologist is an expert in the science of the skin. They handle absolutely everything from acne to much more serious skin conditions. Okay, now for one of the big ones, ophthalmologist. This is not just a person who helps you with glasses. An ophthalmologist is a fully qualified medical doctor, an MD. That means they can diagnose complex eye diseases, prescribe powerful medications, and, this is the critical part, they can perform eye surgery. And that's why this next part is so important to understand. The ophthalmologist is the medical doctor and the surgeon. The optometrist is the person who measures your vision and writes the prescription for your glasses. And then the optician is the skilled technician who actually makes the lenses for you. Three very different but all very important experts. Now, the orthopedist has a really surprising backstory.
The roots are orthos, meaning straight or correct, and paidos. Yep, that's the same root from pediatrician, meaning child. Get this, the name literally means one who straightens children. That's because the whole specialty originally focused on fixing skeletal deformities in kids. Of course, today they treat bone and joint issues for people of all ages.
On to our final group, Section 4, Healers of Nerve and Mind. These specialists deal with some of the body's most intricate and complex systems, our nerves and our mind.
First up, the neurologist. By now, you can probably guess this one, right? Neuron is just Greek for nerve, and logos is our old standby, science. So, a neurologist is an expert in the science of the nervous system. That's the brain, the spinal cord, and all the pathways that connect everything. And our final specialist, the psychiatrist. The root word psyche is the Greek word for mind or even soul, and iatria is that other root we learned, meaning medical healing. When you put them together, a psychiatrist is, pretty powerfully, a mind healer, a medical doctor who focuses on healing our mental and emotional health. Okay, Section 5, the secret language unlocked. So after all that, what's the big takeaway? It's that you now have the key to a secret language that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. Think of this as your new Decoder's toolkit. You've already mastered these key pieces today. Logos for science, iatria for healing, the ending ishin for an expert, and paidos for child. Just imagine how many other complex words you can start to figure out with just these few parts. So the next time you hear a complicated word, whether it's at the doctor's office or just reading an article, you're not going to feel lost. Instead, you'll start looking for those little clues hidden inside. You've learned how to see the roots, and that gives you the key to a whole new level of understanding. The only question left is, what are you going to decode next?